The victory of the Allies ended World War II, but it could not erase the heinous crimes of the Holocaust. Millions perished, and those responsible vanished into the shadows. Among them was Adolf Eichmann, the architect behind the most brutal genocide in history. For 15 years, he lived under a false identity, believing himself safe. But Israeli agents never gave up the hunt. This is the true story of the Mossad's secret operation to capture one of the world's most wanted criminals. A story of justice, perseverance, and an unyielding mission. Don't miss out on gripping historical stories and untold secrets. Subscribe to our channel now to explore these dramatic pages of history with us. Historical context and the relentless hunt. World War II ended, bringing the collapse of Nazi Germany and the historic Nuremberg trials. However, many architects of the atrocities, including Adolf Eichmann, managed to disappear. They exploited the so-called Rat Line, a secret network organized by Nazi sympathizers and some church officials, enabling war criminals to escape to South America, primarily Argentina. There, Eichmann lived a new life under the alias Ricardo Clement. He became an ordinary factory supervisor residing in a modest home on Garibaldi Street, Buenos Aires. He thought he was safe. He was wrong. The hunt began unexpectedly. Lothar Hermann, a blind Jewish survivor of the Dachau concentration camp, was the first to provide crucial information. He too had fled to Argentina and lived near the Eichmann family. His daughter Sylvia met Klaus Eichmann, Adolf's son, at a party where Klaus boasted about his father's wartime greatness. Sylvia, sensitive to her Jewish heritage, shared the story with her father. Despite his blindness, Hermann's intuition was razor-sharp. He immediately recognized the name and wrote to Fritz Bauer, a German prosecutor pursuing Nazi war criminals. Bauer passed the information to the Mossad, Israel's fledgling intelligence agency. Initially, the tip was deemed unreliable. Rumors of Eichmann's whereabouts had surfaced worldwide. The Mossad sent an agent to Argentina to investigate, but he returned empty-handed after a superficial inquiry. The lead on Eichmann faded into obscurity. However, Bauer's persistence forced the Mossad to reconsider. The Mossad dispatched another agent, Zvi Aharoni, to Buenos Aires with a singular mission: verify Ricardo Clement's identity. This was an extremely dangerous and covert task, as Argentina's government at the time harbored many Nazi sympathizers. Aharoni began surveilling Clement, living nearby and observing his every move and habit. A key detail emerged: Eichmann forgot to buy a gift for his wife on their anniversary. This gave Aharoni confidence in the lead, but he needed concrete evidence. Finally, Aharoni obtained the decisive proof. He persuaded a local to secretly photograph Clement. When experts analyzed the photo, they compared it to old images of Eichmann. The results were astonishing. The position and shape of Eichmann's ear were unique, like a fingerprint. The photograph provided undeniable confirmation Ricardo Clement was Adolf Eichmann. This intelligence was immediately sent to Israel. An emergency meeting was convened. Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion faced a difficult decision: should the Mossad send a team to Argentina to assassinate Eichmann, or undertake a highly complex and dangerous kidnapping operation to bring him to Israel for a public trial. Ben-Gurion believed assassination was merely revenge. He wanted Eichmann to face justice. He wanted the world, especially Israel's youth, to see and hear the evidence of Nazi atrocities. Eichmann's trial would serve as the most powerful reminder of the Holocaust's brutality and a bold statement of Israel's existence and strength. The order was given: capture him alive. in the plan and the Mossad team. With Ben-Gurion's order to capture him alive, the operation entered its decisive phase. The Mossad assembled an elite task force led by Adolf Eichmann, one of Israel's most skilled and legendary operatives. Eichmann didn't seek flashy James Bond-style spies. Instead, he chose individuals with practical expertise in logistics disguise and document forgery. They were ordinary people, unremarkable in appearance but equipped with covert skills, blending seamlessly into crowds without raising suspicion. Their motivation was not just national duty, it stemmed from deep personal pain. Many team members, including Eichmann, were Holocaust survivors or had lost family and friends in Nazi death camps. For them, this was not merely an espionage mission, but a pursuit of justice. They carried an ironclad resolve to bring the orchestrator of the most horrific genocide to account for his crimes. The plan was meticulously crafted. The agents secretly monitored Eichmann's daily routines. They noticed he returned home each evening by bus on Garibaldi Street. This was the perfect time and place for the kidnapping. To ensure absolute success, the Mossad team rehearsed the operation over 300 times in a secret warehouse in Tel Aviv. Every possible scenario was accounted for, from handling passers-by to dealing with unexpected emergencies. The task force arrived in Argentina under various identities, posing as tourists, engineers, and businessmen. They rented multiple safe houses and cars, all prepared for the operation. Every detail was calculated down to the second. They couldn't carry weapons, fearing detection by Argentine authorities, making the mission even more perilous. The team lay in wait for several nights, patiently awaiting Eichmann's appearance. Each night brought immense stress and pressure. Tensions peaked when some cars malfunctioned, forcing last-minute replacements and plan adjustments. But with meticulous preparation and extraordinary determination, they were ready to execute one of the boldest espionage operations in history. WWII, the dramatic capture, in tense hours. On the night of May 11, 1960, on the dark Garibaldi Street, history was rewritten. The Mossad team waited patiently in ambush. Everything was planned to the second to the centimeter. The ambush unfolded in an atmosphere of breathless tension. A bus stopped. Eichmann stepped off. He walked slowly toward his home, a top war criminal strolling in false tranquility. As Eichmann neared his gate, Agent Zvi Aharoni appeared. Unarmed, he blocked Eichmann's path. For a fleeting moment, both stood frozen. Eichmann, trained to fight, sensed the danger. He didn't scream or resist, only flinched in silence. Aharoni seized him. A brief struggle ensued, and Eichmann was swiftly bundled into a waiting black Ford car. The entire process took less than 2 minutes. At the safe house, after days of silence and waiting, tension reached its peak. Eichmann was bound to a bed and interrogated. The agents needed to ensure they hadn't captured the wrong man. When Aharoni asked, "Who are you?" Eichmann, in a hoarse and trembling voice, replied, in German, "Ich bin Adolf Eichmann. I am Adolf Eichmann." That statement was the final confirmation, a historic moment proving that the 15-year hunt had ended. Keeping Eichmann in the safe house posed a significant psychological challenge. The agents had to care for a criminal responsible for millions of deaths, many of whom were their families and friends. They fed him, gave him water, and ensured he didn't attempt suicide. The tension stemmed not only from guarding him, but also from suppressed hatred. Each team member grappled with personal emotions to fulfill a greater mission, bringing him to justice. As the return date approached, a major issue arose. The Israeli airline flight was delayed. The prolonged wait heightened anxiety. Argentina harbored many Nazi sympathizers. If the operation leaked, it could collapse and Eichmann might be rescued. Finally, a bold plan emerged. Eichmann would be disguised as a drunk airline employee, helped onto the plane by colleagues. With calculated audacity, they got him aboard, and the plane finally took off, bound for Israel. Manur. The journey to Israel, the historic trial and lasting significance. As the plane took off, the intense stress of the kidnapping gave way to cautious relief. Inside the cabin, Eichmann was tightly bound while the Mossad agents remained vigilant. Throughout the journey, they dealt with a man who once symbolized genocidal evil, but was now a trembling, powerless prisoner. This was a historic flight, not only bringing a criminal to justice, but carrying the weight of a past where millions of lives were stolen. When the plane landed safely in Israel, a nation held its breath. Eichmann, the orchestrator of a colossal killing machine, was placed in a secret holding facility. But the Mossad's goal wasn't to detain him indefinitely. Prime Minister Ben-Gurion's plan was realized a public trial where the world would listen. Eichmann's trial, held in Jerusalem in 1961, was not just a criminal proceeding, but a historic stage broadcast live for the world to witness. Hundreds of Holocaust survivors confronted Eichmann as witnesses. Their tearful, anguished testimonies became the most vivid and powerful evidence. Eichmann, in a bulletproof glass booth, claimed he was merely a civil servant following orders, asserting no personal malice. However, his defense could not obscure the horrific truth. Evidence presented at the trial exposed his role in coordinating the trains that transported Jews to extermination camps. He optimized the machinery of death, ensuring the final solution was executed with maximum efficiency and brutality. After months of proceedings, Eichmann was convicted of genocide and crimes against humanity. He was sentenced to death. On May 31, 1962, Eichmann was hanged. His body was cremated and his ashes were scattered in the Mediterranean Sea beyond Israel's territorial waters. This ensured he had no grave, no burial site, and could not become a symbol for neo-Nazis. The operation to capture Eichmann was not just an intelligence triumph, it was a powerful statement. It showed the world that genocidal crimes would never be forgotten, and justice would find perpetrators no matter where they hid. The trial helped heal some of the survivors' wounds and served as a reminder for future generations of the Holocaust's brutality. It affirmed the existence and strength of Israel, a nation that rose from ashes to demand justice for those lost. A lasting reminder and a great legacy. The conclusion of Eichmann's trial marked a new chapter in the pursuit of justice for genocidal crimes. But the story's significance extends beyond that. It is a powerful affirmation that the search for truth and justice never ceases, no matter how much time passes. The Mossad's operation was more than an intelligence feat. It was a message to the world: those who commit crimes against humanity have nowhere to hide. The hunt for Eichmann proved that a newly established state like Israel, with unwavering resolve, could reach beyond its borders to enforce justice. It brought justice not only for the millions of victims, but also declared the strength and resilience of a nation reborn from ashes. The Jerusalem trial held profound significance. For the first time, Holocaust survivors had the chance to tell their stories to the world. Their testimonies were not just evidence against Eichmann, but a reminder of the horrors of genocide. It helped Israel's youth and the global community understand what happened, ensuring those painful memories would never fade. Adolf Eichmann's life, from a supposed ordinary bureaucrat to a hunted criminal and ultimately a hanged man, is a costly lesson. It shows that even the most ordinary individuals can become instruments of evil if they abandon conscience and blindly follow orders. Ultimately, the story of Eichmann's capture is not just a page of history. It is a legacy, a warning, and a hope. It reminds us of the importance of confronting the truth, the responsibility of each individual to fight injustice, and the power of justice. A mission was completed, a story was told, and a lesson was etched into human history forever.